Ah, yes! Awesome! This is Grandstand Munchman. Wow. I remember this when I was a kid, and I used to spend hours and hours playing this. I can remember having to keep on replacing the batteries as well, and I went on to my mum and dad. I kept on and on at them, could they please get me a power supply for my Munchman game? And they did, because batteries back in the day were very expensive. So the power adapter really allowed me to play this for such a long time. And I just could not believe my luck that I had this technology in my hands. It is absolutely amazing. And having it again now is just awesome. I managed to pick up one of these from an auction site and I just love it. Even to this day, the simplicity of the gameplay and just the challenge as well is every bit as good as it was back when I was a child. In fact, I'm going to have a go now. Very cool. Now I've got it in pro setting. There is an amateur setting as well. And the thing that I find amazing about this game is, yes, it is Pac-Man, but you can only eat the little dots or the ghosts if you're facing the right direction. So your mouth has to be facing in the direction you're planning to eat the little sort of pills or dots on the screen. And it's just fantastic to play this again. It really is. And playing in pro mode as well. I remember actually when I was a kid I used to have lots of these little games. And this was probably my favourite. I can remember having Astro Wars as well. There was also like a Defender game, and every single one of them was slightly different. Before we had these sort of digital sort of LED type displays, there were actually electronic games that had a mechanical element to them, and the background would move and you'd have a little sort of foreground element moving as well that you would maybe drive along. And lost a life. Time to turn off. So I was just saying that there was mechanical ones as well that would allow you to have a moving part at the front and then a moving background, and then you had electronic sounds perhaps if you crashed into something. This was sort of the next level up. Probably about 6 months to a year later when you actually got like LED screens. And I just love it. I love the shape of it, I love the design of it, and I just, the memories of playing this for hours and hours is so good. But how times have changed as well, with the advent of smartphones, where you can obviously download an app and play the likes of Pac-Man, which is the nearest equivalent to Grandstand Munchman. And you can download that for free on your iPhone or your iPad or your Android tablet, and there are so many different versions of it. And then of course you've got 3D versions like Pac-Land and things like that you can play nowadays. And just looking back to this, I mean, I can't even remember how much this would have cost back when I was a kid, but it would have been something like a main Christmas present. You know, if you asked for something like this, you'd be very lucky to get it, and you probably wouldn't get much else apart from this under the Christmas tree. This would be a real privilege to get a game like this. And I'm just speechless, really. I know I'm not entirely speechless because I've spoken to you for about 3 or 4 minutes so far in today's video, but it's just really brought back the memories. Astro Wars as well, I mentioned. I would really like to get hold of one of those. I'd love an Astro Wars and a Defender. I'd love that. I can also remember the Game & Watch, like Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. and Parachute. That was another Game & Watch that I had. I'd love to actually build up a small collection of these because it's just so nice to see how much attention to detail went in back then. And also to remember how much I enjoyed it. So it's been about 4 hours since I recorded that first bit of video for you with the Grandstand Munchman game, and I just can't stop smiling, purely because it has brought back so many good memories. And I can remember so much about my childhood, but the vivid moments are regarding technology. I can remember my ZX Spectrum, for example, one of the first computers I had, and I can remember my next door neighbour having a ZX80 and playing Breakout on it. I can remember a Grandstand games console where I used to play Pong, just sort of 2 lines on the screen and a little dot going across. And there were different variations of the game as well, where you could sort of use this controller on the Grandstand console just to sort of click it round to a different version of the game. And then I can also remember the Atari. I'm pretty sure it was a 2600 was the very first one we had. And playing things like Night Driver and Missile Command and Space Invaders. Invisible Space Invaders was one of the modes as well. How crazy is that? And then also, like I mentioned to you earlier, the little Game & Watch, electronic games, Parachute. Just such a simple game with little figures parachuting out, and you'd have to sort of rescue them and guide them home safely. It was just awesome. And that first Game & Watch I had that had the sort of dual screens, the Donkey Kong game, that was amazing. But they're all gone, and it's made me remember so much. I really do want to search some of these games down and show you them in future videos. I'm going to sort of spend probably my weekend, the weekend that's coming up, looking at eBay, maybe go around some boot fairs and just see if I can pick up some of the games I had when I was a kid. The only problem I had when I was looking for that Munchman was finding one in good condition, and even this one's got a little tiny bit of damage to it, but it survived pretty well. It still works, and as you saw in the video, the sound's awesome, the display, wow, and the gameplay is just so simple but so addictive. Oh, I will share this with you as well. We used to have Defender, and that was on the Atari 2600 or 7800. I can't remember which one it was when we had Defender. But both myself and a friend had it. And we got very, very good at it. Like extremely good. And we spent, I think it was about sort of 48 hours, maybe even longer than that, continually playing one game of Defender. And we would take it in turns. So I would play an hour, hour and a half, and then we'd swap over. And I would get a break while my friend played it for an hour or an hour and a half, and then we'd do that, and we did that all the way through the night, through to the following day as well. I can't even remember what score we got, but it was an awesome, awesome time, and a real achievement back then. I mean, it seems silly by today's standards saying playing a game's an achievement, but I was a kid, and getting that high score was an achievement. It was just awesome, absolutely awesome. So anyway, I'm going to stop reminiscing and hand this over to you and ask you to leave some comments as to what video games you used to play when you were a kid, or indeed if you're a younger person now and you play video games, what are your favourite games now, or have you played any retro games that you really like, the likes of Munchman, Astro Wars, Defender, Dig Dug, that was another of my favourites. Just leave me some comments below and I will see you all again in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, there are 2 places you can find the subscribe button. On the main channel page, it's just up here in the top right hand corner. If you're on a video watch page, then you'll find it just underneath the video you've been watching. Click on the subscribe button and that means that you are now subscribed to the Geekanoids channel. But there is one more step you must take. Click on the little cog icon next to the subscribed button. Put a tick in the send me updates box and click save. Job done. Thank you very much for watching again. I'll see you next time.